first episode of the Expat Bros presented by Qatar Day. Your co-host, Hamza, half of the co-host.
AB, what's going on, guys? Welcome back.
Hey, sorry we've been gone for a little bit, but we're back now, right? Where do you think we are? Where do you think they I don't know if they know where we are.
I think it's a new studio, man.
Yeah.
We got a studio finally.
Yeah, we ain't gonna tell you where we are, because this could be our studio, this could be something else, but maybe we'll reveal it at the end. But look at our new digs, right? We're not on the camera anymore. We have an actual studio space.
You see real bodies now as well.
See real bodies. We're right next to each other, right? We're real people. But we're here. We have a special guest. We're gonna get to that in a little bit as well. Just want you to know kind of where we've been. So AB, how you feeling, man?
I feel good, man. Alhamdulillah, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long way. It's been a long journey. It's been, 8 months now? 7 months?
Yeah, we've been gone for a minute.
We've been gone for a hot minute.
Yeah.
So it took a hiatus now.
Yeah.
We had to save up. Alhamdulillah, man. We made it.
We're here. We're here.
Yeah.
Thank you for your patience. Promise we're gonna have a good episode. And speaking of a good episode, we have a special guest in the building. You might have heard his name.
But before that.
Oh, no, okay.
Before that is a very, very important.
I'm off script, my bad.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We're Expat Bros, man.
That's fact.
We're
whatever.
We're always off script.
We'll do whatever.
We're gonna freestyle it. You know what I'm saying? So before that, we have to thank a very important, our team in the back.
How can I forget? I'm looking right at him. I'm looking right at him. So, you go ahead, man. I must have admitted that.
Expat Bros, presented by
Qatar Day.
So shout out to them. Shout out to
Qatar Day. Appreciate y'all.
Always, man. This whole movement, this whole studio is thanks to them.
Yes.
And more to come, inshallah.
Inshallah. That's the most important thing. We're happy with the partnership. These guys are great. And we'll see more things coming up, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. That's why we have you here. You make the big bucks.
I'm trying, man.
Whenever I mess up, you always cover it.
Bro. We got each other. It's a synergy.
That's my guy.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool.
Alhamdulillah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Can I go now to the guest?
Of course. All right, I'm sorry, apologies. I didn't cut you off.
No, you're good. We have a special guest. And being our first episode in a long time of a hiatus, this first guest actually sets the tone, right? For why we're here, what we're doing. And this special guest is special to not only to us, but to the whole nation of Qatar as well. He did a really important installation, Echoes of Lost Innocence. And everyone knows about it, I believe. You can see the teddy bear here. We all understand what it's about and its importance, but we don't want to tell his story. He's here to tell his story. Here to tell the story behind these projects and more that he has done. Very talented brother, Mr. Bachir Mohamad. How you doing today, brother?
Hey guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be with you guys today. I think Echo of Lost Innocence got as much coverage actually in Doha and like an international coverage as well, more than we expected, to be honest. When we were even thinking, like for example, for the opening day with the team in Msheireb properties, we were expecting like 100 to 200 people actually to come and visit like the opening and these stuff, and we ended up having like more than 1,700 people actually coming in the first day. So everything was like going so dramatically and so beautifully with the interaction of people, especially like the people of Qatar, whether like Qataris or expats and even like international visitors coming to Doha. So it was a beautiful experience, though the message was a harsh one, and it's talking about the children of Gaza that we're still losing on a daily basis. And I do believe now it's maybe more than 18,000 kids got lost, and these are like the numbers known to the media, but some people are saying it might be way bigger than that. So I do hope that this number would stop. I was hoping this almost 2 years back, or 1 year and a half. Because when I started working with this initiative, it was December 2023, and today we're January 2025. So it's almost like 2 years.
Yes.
It's almost 2 years actually with this. Yes. So this is, how can I say it? This is how how an artist actually would be like playing a role in paying tribute actually for whatever is happening in this life. Palestine is the number one cause for humanity before let's not talk about the Arab world or the Islamic world. We're talking about like the international community and the whole world itself. It's the first cause, and it's the cause of humanity. It's the cause of innocence and the lost innocence itself. And we've been hearing about that for a long time ago. Like we're talking about mid 20th century. Everybody was talking about it. Nelson Mandela was talking about it. Gandhi was talking about it. Everybody was talking about it. So and it's still not solved. It's still not finished. And we're just hoping actually that one day we will be remembering like those who got lost due to this war, due to this nightmare in Palestine. So yeah.
Let's see, we know who you are, but let's go back a little bit and build to the echo of innocence. You're an artist coming from Lebanon, living in Qatar. A lot of your art, you get inspiration from Qatar. And Qatari inspiration and essence. As an artist, what moves you? What makes you give these pieces? Because I know, because you do applied art. And applied art is a question I want to ask you afterwards, because a lot of people don't know what applied art is. They know contemporary, they know abstract, but they don't know applied art in particular. So your first question, number one, is the essence you get from Qatari heritage, because we live in Qatar. Where does that come from, and how does that drive you?
Okay, first I studied interior design and surveying engineering, and then when I came over here to Doha, I had my master's degree in archaeology of the Arab and Islamic world at UCL. So studying interior design, we do have a big part where we study history, okay? And then studying archaeology as well, especially the one of the region itself, you will know more about the history of it. Qatar is super rich with the history, especially when we're talking about traditions and heritage itself. And I'm always fascinated with the daily life routines of the people more than the other aspects of the history itself. It has a beautiful architecture, which is super common. But I would go more into the details of the architecture itself, of the lifestyle of the people and their traditions. Like for example, mainly I have worked with a lot of with art reflecting messages from the society itself when it is about women empowerment, for example, and what's the message behind it, and why would I go for that certain type of detail instead of going for something else? Because I like to go and catch a certain type of detail that might most of the people might forget about it. Yes.
I've seen your pieces.
Yes. So I would go, for example, like when it is about women, I would go for the fashion, for the old fashion, and I would take one of the details actually and develop it from there into like an art piece or an art detail. And I love to keep people wondering, oh, if this is like real Qatari tradition, or is it like from somewhere? It happened with me more than once. And I would be happy actually to show people like the resources and the research behind every single piece of them. But lately, for the past 2 years, I've been focusing more actually on an international side of Palestine itself. So most of my works nowadays actually are reflecting whatever is happening in Gaza, because it really affected me back when it started actually on October 7, 2023. I know that was happening for a long time ago, but this time it was like really, how can I say, it was like a big slap to the Arab community, to the Islamic community, and to the international community itself. But before that, and I'm still, to be honest, I'm still working actually with most of my pieces are reflecting something like from the Qatari nature, or from the traditions, from the heritage itself, fashion, or whatsoever. most of the time I go to the museum, I would search like for certain pieces, for example, or just to get inspired, or to go like to the library to read more books, like especially old books and these stuff. And I found myself within this niche in art. And applied art actually is something really interesting, because we're talking about sculpture, we're talking about art installations, and it's nothing common between artists, to be honest. Like every single artist got to enter this field from a different perspective. So it's not an easy one, to be honest. And you need to be like more, how can I say, eager to know more about how to reflect your message with your art piece. So yeah, and so far, and most of my sculptures are reflecting something from the community I'm living, from the environment actually I'm being inspired with. And to be honest, I love Qatar. Like it's different. It's totally different. I have been here for 17 years, and I've witnessed like, I'm not gonna say like it was directly after the Asian Games in 2006, and all the process actually of building the new infrastructure for the World Cup in 2022. It was a huge change of the landscape fabric of the country itself, and even like now we do have like the National Museum, and they're planning like for different other museums as well. So it's totally different, it's totally new, and every day you will find something new. Every day you will get inspired by something new.
Speaking of the National Museum, you see Qatar is they are the pioneers of new architects. You can see them. The National Museum is based on the Desert Rose.
That's true.
They try new things. They build new buildings. And I can see in your art, especially in applied art, as the name says, you try things, or you see things from your point of view that the average person has missed. And you give emphasis on that one thing to give it the art piece.
Yeah.
And when you give it, it shows a different side of it, where people are like, I didn't really think about that, or I didn't really see it in that way, which I think is actually a very phenomenal skill.
And that's what differentiates you from being a normal person. Artists are crazy people, to be honest. So we see stuff from a total different perspective,
Yes.
and we see it actually from a total different niche, and it will reflect something from our own, let's say, soul, all the way, actually taking like one item as if you're putting it inside yourself and then getting it outside actually for the people to see it. It's not an easy process, to be honest. And it's very important as an artist to have a message, because your art piece or artwork or sculpture or whatever you're producing as an artist, if it doesn't have a message, it's worthless.
That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. We can find this actually in a daily basis through the social media and everything. Like there's plenty of artists wannabe that they just want actually to be like being labeled with being called as an artist or something like this. But if there's no message, there's nothing. It's and this is the dilemma, and this is like the main point of being an artist, because art is a form of living and reflecting something actually, whether it's from the past, the present, or the future itself. So you need to know exactly what you're talking about. You need to know exactly what you're doing and what's your message and what you are serving. If you don't have a high purpose, it doesn't mean anything to you.
Brother Bachir, I have a question. When you're looking at interpretation of your art, you have a certain way that you wanted it interpreted because you created it in a certain way.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation when someone interpreted your art in a different way, or in a way that you did not, I guess, agree with? Mm-hmm. How do you deal with that in terms of explaining how the purpose was for that piece?
I would never explain.
Oh, okay.
I would never explain because whatever this piece actually would mean to you, it will mean something totally different to the audience. So you cannot as an artist actually force your message over people, because every single person will see it. I work with lots of artists as well because I work also as curator. And I do remember this story with one fellow artist that he was working on one project, and I had him in one of the exhibitions, and his piece was super powerful, to be honest. It was a huge piece. It was in black color. And lots of people actually got emotional when they saw it. But from the other side, I had lots of visitors actually coming to the gallery and telling me like, it looks like a piece of garbage.
He said that.
Yes.
Verbatim.
Yes. Yes. And he knew about it.
To his face.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And for no, but this is normal. You always as an artist, you always have to be neutral when it is about receiving the messages from the audience. You cannot force people and say, no, my art is beautiful. I don't believe there is something so-called art is beautiful, art is ugly. Art, yeah, exactly. And you cannot put yourself actually in every single person visiting your piece or getting interacted with it in their own way. So you have to respect that. You have to keep yourself neutral, and just to listen. Sometimes you really need to listen, because some of them would come to you and tell you like, oh, I wish you made this piece, for example, in white color. It would have long. I did it once. I had one art installation, and one of the artists came to me and she said like, I love what you have done, but I prefer this part. I wish this part that you made it actually in white color instead of black color. So what I did, I reinvented the art installation again, and I used the white color, and I had a total different receipt of the people. Yes, exactly. It was totally different. So sometimes we have to listen. The artist ego sometimes is really
it's human ego. It's everybody.
Yes. No, but when it is with artists, it's like way
so
higher.
The ability to receive feedback is the hardest thing, basically.
Yes. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
No, I'm telling you, personally, it's not easy sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might like break your heart, to be honest.
Yeah.
And sometimes it might like cheer you up.
Make your day.
Yes, exactly. So it's not like every single person will have his own interpretation, what is about your piece and how they will look at it, and how they will see it. So
Go for it.
I have a quick question, and you don't have to give up the secret sauce if you don't want to. But what is your process when you come up with something from conception to actually installation? Is there a particular process that's native to you?
Or do you have like some kind of food that you eat? Or?
Yeah, do you have a food that you eat?
No.
Like how do you? Like,
do you sleep on one side of the bed? Like
how does the juice flow? How do you get inspired?
Okay. If we're gonna talk about what food I eat, I have gluten intolerance, lactose intolerance. I don't eat sugar. No, it's
here we go. Secret sauce, y'all.
See, I always say that for all the artists, for all my fellow friends, and whoever would ask me this, it's all about research. Okay. You have to read, you have to look, you have to see, you have to be more curious to know more.
Right.
Okay. Plus, really, you have to research. It's all about research. It's all about like, why this? Because you have to ask yourself before people asking you why, what, how.
Sure.
And what it stands for and these stuff. So if you're not gonna do your own research, it's gonna be worthless. It doesn't have any value, to be honest, not even for yourself. The worst thing that for any human, before being an artist, for any human, like lying to yourself is way worse than lying to people.
I agree.
Because lying to yourself as if you're lying actually to your God.
Yeah, true.
And to your own self,
your
which
own
is
being.
like, yes, exactly. Yeah. So and I talk to myself a lot, to be honest. I fight with myself a lot, and it's not easy. Believe me, it's not easy. Sometimes I do have this block for months. Like I cannot think about anything,
right.
And suddenly I would have the idea in blink, and I would start like working on it. I have a friend of mine. He said like you're never tired when it is about art. But if I would tell you let's go for a coffee, you'd say no, I'm tired. I just want to sleep.
When it comes to I want to go back to feedback.
Yeah.
Okay. Art is one of those things where people, especially the viewer, I don't know what it is, tells you that I can do this. or I can do it better.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, you do have people.
So
like that. Yeah.
people always want to criticize and think that like they have this habit of saying, "Oh, I can do this."
Of course.
So as an artist, because you've been in the game now for so long,
Yeah.
and your skin is so thick now.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, that probably must have been getting under your skin. So how'd you deal with that? Still.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with people that don't have any idea of the work behind it? Because all they're seeing is the finished product.
Of course.
They don't understand the inspiration, the conception, the steps, the materials, all these steps that gather to where that piece is right now.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that kind of malicious?
It's not malicious.
I would say malicious because, okay, maybe not malicious, but I don't know what word to use.
But some people are haters of.
But they're haters.
Yeah.
Pretty much, they're haters.
No.
Sometimes people do that.
Well, yes, I understand your point of view,
because
but even like it's not even normal. People would say that to you. One of your fellow artists would come out and was like, "I can do this."
No, I'll tell you why.
You got my point.
That's competition, though.
Yes,
right?
yes.
No, but I'll tell you why. Okay, because you made a comment before. On social media, you see these people that just throw paint on
Oh
the
yes,
thing.
yes, of course.
And then the
abstract.
the average person would be like, "What? How's that art?" Like
I would ask this question sometimes to myself, and I was like, "What is this? What I'm seeing? Is this up?" No, the formation of art and the definition of art today, especially nowadays, actually, is way different.
Exactly right.
You got my point.
Yes.
Especially like with the invention of the abstractism and all of these new schools, like the digital art school and all of this.
Yeah.
I cannot deny the foundation of these schools.
Okay.
And I have to accept them whether I like it or not. You got my point. Even if it is not my taste, but I have to accept it. I do have, for example, my own art collection at home, and I do have some pieces that are abstract.
Yes.
And because it meant something to me, you got my. Suddenly, you will pass by one piece, and you was like, "Wow, like it hit you from the inside." That's the value of art itself. Here's the value. It's not about. For me. It's not about like, "Oh, I can do it." Nobody can do it. Believe me. Nobody can do it because every single piece of this art, whether it's good for you or not, it has a value for someone. And we're not one person in this community. We're more than 8 billion people today.
True.
You got my point? And every single one of them has its own identity, thoughts, and everything. So I cannot interact with the same art piece the way you're interacting or the way Hamza is interacting. It might mean something for me. It might mean nothing for you. It might mean, garbage for him. He would look at him, what the heck? What is this?
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay for that piece, for example. And it would be expensive. You got my point. So it's different from one person to another. For my art, I label my art as mainly classic and to applied, more than being abstract. Because I'm more interested actually on the details. So I love the classic art. I love what Michelangelo did. I love what Leonardo da Vinci did.
Yes.
Yeah, I love especially nowadays, you do have lots of artists that work with the classic, especially when we're talking about like, for example, in the, if we're gonna talk about the region, like in Egypt, for example, Mahmoud Mukhtar, or for example, in Kuwait or in Lebanon, there's a plenty of sculptures who did amazing work, and it was purely classic. And I love that. I love that school. But sometimes you have to twist it and take it actually to a new dimension, to a new horizon actually, where you can meet with people sometimes. You cannot like be purely classic, you cannot be purely, let's say, contemporary, but you have to mix between them. But when it is about art installation, it's totally different. Yeah, art installations are different because it's a dimension that not all artists can do. This is one. Second, it's a total different, how can I say, field when it is how you're feeling, because it goes beyond like your third dimensions or fourth dimensions. It's a total different interpretation for people as well. So, and it's different from one person to another. When I did, for example, Echo of Lost Innocence, the main target of it, the main purpose of the big installation is to show people the impact of numbers.
Yes.
I want to get to it, but I understood this completely. I have a different what do you call it, understanding of this.
Have you seen it when
Yeah,
it was in Msheireb?
Yeah.
No, I saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I saw it. So the way, I don't want to, because I kind of want to build up to it,
Yeah.
but I understood this differently. The way
Okay.
you actually displayed it,
Yeah.
I had a different aspiration to it.
okay, that's great. That's
let's-
great.
we'll get
But
to that in a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so-
this is really cool.
So every single piece of art is unique to the person receiving it,
Yes.
whether he will like it or not.
Yes.
So and back to your question, how I would accept such critique from people.
From the haters.
No, haters hate themselves. They
So,
don't hate.
you're right.
So
That's a good point.
It's a good
yeah.
point.
So
That's good.
to be honest,
Self-love.
to be honest, sometimes yes, it hit me
Yeah.
hardly, and sometimes it doesn't, depending on who's telling me this. If it is someone I appreciate, especially when, like for example, I do have some artists that I do respect, and sometimes I go back to them actually to receive their own critique about my pieces. And to be honest, most of them they would criticize me regarding like the technique or the production rather than the idea itself. They cannot. That's something that I like about this relationship between me and them. And they would say like the idea is beautiful, but maybe you have to work more on the production side, more on the detail side, because after all, see, we're learning every single day. Life is a school on a daily basis, and you have to allow yourself to learn on a daily basis. Otherwise, you wouldn't develop. You wouldn't go further with your career. But when it is someone who doesn't have the experience, or who doesn't have like the background, I would accept it. It wouldn't hit me, to be honest. It would be like, okay, yeah, I understand. Maybe you're right, for example. And some of them, they might have a perspective that you wouldn't see it.
Fair enough.
Yes. So it might. Critique is really important actually for artists. Otherwise, it won't work for you. You cannot have all these people clapping for you and saying, "Oh, you're amazing."
Yeah.
No, that's fake.
You can't have a bunch of yes
No,
men.
that's fake.
Yeah.
You can't have it.
So, when you're talking about an artist, is a good artist a natural artist, or does a good artist have to go to school to cultivate their talent? Or is it a bit of both?
There is no standard. I know some self-taught artists that they have amazing pieces. They did amazing pieces, and I know some artists who learned art. But see, art is, I believe it's a talent. It's a talent that's somehow inside you, but you just need to know how to grow it and how to develop it. You cannot just grow a talent, whether it's art or not. Any talent cannot be grown or developed if you're not working on it, if you're not nourishing it actually with I don't know, with books and sightseeing and discussions and debates and these stuff.
Right.
So I studied art. I studied history as well, but I believe that it was a talent somehow within me, and I nourished it actually by myself. My brother also is an artist as well, and he's an amazing artist, to be honest.
Same.
Because he paints actually.
Oh,
He
mashallah.
paints, and he had one exhibition in Feb over here, and it was sold out, to be honest.
Wow.
And it was also about Palestine.
Oh, mashallah.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah,
super. The difference between us, like I don't take stuff with political aspects. He takes it actually with purely political aspects, and that's something actually which is totally different between each other.
Right.
But when we sit together and discuss, we always fight. I would say like I don't
brothers.
like it. It's rubbish, and he would say like, oh, as if your art is better. You got my point. So
But is that sibling rivalry,
Yeah.
or is that pure, just like
Brothers.
no. This is pure art.
Is art? Or is
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
or is
yeah,
it
this-
brotherly hate?
Right.
No. This is pure art. We love each other.
Okay. Okay.
Your bigger brother? Big
I'm the
brother?
bigger one.
Okay.
So we always fight. Like for example, here I remember one of his painting, and he had like a nude scene, and I was like, that's not gonna work over here. You need to change it. And he was like, no, I'm an artist. I should have the freedom. I said like the freedom in Switzerland, not over here. So you have to understand. See, that's something totally also like artists has to understand the environment and the community they're living in.
And the culture.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Because if you're not going to respect the culture that somehow you're related to it right now, you wouldn't succeed.
No.
Yeah, you wouldn't succeed.
You saved his career.
Yes, exactly.
He should. That's why you're a big bro.
Big brother.
Yeah,
That's
that's something totally different. He doesn't see it like that, but anyways.
Don't worry. Eventually, he'll see it.
Yeah.
One day, inshallah. Don't worry about it.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Actually,
Yes.
it's funny you mentioned school because, see, I'm also a teacher as well, right? And people in education look at the big three: math, science, and language. Whatever language, English now.
English, yeah.
Okay? Art is one of those courses that people don't take serious in school.
True.
It's unfortunate.
True.
And especially being Muslim, we have so many artists that are Muslim from different times of history.
That's true.
And different countries around the world. So and art is in so many other subjects.
True.
So there's art in mathematics, there's art in science.
Of course.
There's art in poetry.
Yeah.
And art is such a strong foundation within the religion that but somehow people do not take it serious, or they think it's a easy course or a joke subject or whatever. What do you tell people that like art's everywhere around us? How can we tell them that like we need arts? It's a foundational thing.
Of course. See, when we don't know anything about our history if it is not about art.
Exactly.
If we're talking, let's say, for example, nowadays about Islamic art is not only like art or architecture itself.
Yes.
It's about astronomy, it's about poetry, it's about language, literature, and all of these aspects together, all these fields actually are under the umbrella of something so-called Islamic art.
Correct.
Okay, now if you go, for example, to the Islamic Museum of the Museum of Islamic Art, you go from one hall to another, you will find like carpets, vases, utilities, clothing, and everything.
Utensils.
All of this is art.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's funny actually, especially in our region, that we don't believe in art, but we're living with art on a daily basis.
Everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Even the clothing that you're wearing, it's art.
Yeah.
Anything, the car, it's art. It's a purely art. It started actually with a sketch. Cars started with a sketch. Anything we're wearing, anything we're using nowadays actually is related to art. And it's funny how our schools actually are still not
taking it serious.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna tell you my story.
Yes, please.
My family wanted me to study medicine.
So,
which is like the super normal thing.
Standard.
You know? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's even like you have to be a doctor or an engineer or a lawyer.
Pharmacist.
Yeah.
So like that.
So
the three options.
So yeah, the three options. So I went for one full year in the medical school, and we were studying biology. To be honest, it was like very common, and I spent the whole year actually in the cafeteria.
You skipped the whole year.
Yes.
Just in the cafeteria.
Yes. And they discovered that actually through one of our neighbors because she was studying with me.
Oh.
And my mom came to me and she was like, I see her studying all day and you're not doing anything. And I was like, yeah, I don't need to be honest. It's super easy. You got my point. I hated it. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
And after they discovered, they had a big debate with the family. Like, so one of my uncles, he was like, no, let him go and study commerce because now it's like the future of e-commerce and all of these. And I was like, okay, as long as you're paying for school, I don't mind. So I went actually to the university actually to apply for that. And while I was waiting, I was looking through the catalog of the school, and I was like, oh, fine arts. Okay, I will go for fine arts. That's something easy. And that's something I like as well. I do remember when I was in elementary school, I was in a school where our teachers would allow us actually to paint and draw over the walls of the courtyard.
Oh.
And I remember my brother and I painted one scene of Tour Eiffel and Paris, and he drew Snoopy. Yeah. Okay. And then my mom would allow us actually inside the house also to paint over the walls. we always had this one. And I had one of my uncles who used to paint as well. And my father was an antique dealer. So we had this type of stuff around us. You got my point? So I got this, how can I say, I got this feeling like I want to do fine arts. So I started the first year at school studying fine arts. None of my family members knew about it. And my brother, he's the one who went and told my mom, I think Bachir is studying something related to art.
Oh, he ratted you out.
Yes,
this
yes,
guy,
yes.
this guy, brother.
He opened the door for himself, actually, you know?
He used you.
Yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
my goodness, this guy.
So it was not an easy process. I remember my grandmother telling my mom like, oh, congratulations, now he's gonna be graduating as a belly dancer. And I was like, oh, that's so weird. But anyways, so I studied theater. I had theater courses as well. And because in fine arts, it's very...
it's a different discipline.
Yes. But then everything, it was actually in interior design. I had courses in theater. I had courses actually in paintings and in sculptures and these stuff. It was fun, to be honest. And I found myself somehow within the
arts.
Within the field of art itself. So, and I went also to engineering. I studied like 2 years of surveying engineering.
Oh, wow.
It was not easy, but it was like, okay, they are like somehow pushing me like to have an engineering degree. And I was like, okay, now I get the degree. Take it.
There you go.
Keep it for yourself. I'm going to work something with when it is about art. And the first, believe it or not, when I started working, actually, I started working as a graphic designer. That was like the first job I got. It started all from there.
MashaAllah.
So yeah, you will never know actually where you will end.
So that's interesting. How do you go from graphic art into where you are now? What was the seed there that gave you that confidence?
See,
momentum?
from graphic art to interior to purely interior design and fit outs, and then I started working on furniture design. My first exhibition back in 2015, I had a collection of furniture reflecting aspects and details of the Qatari local architecture, old architecture, and details from the from calligraphy and ornaments, especially these ornaments, for example. You're seeing.
Was that the Tafasil exhibition?
Sorry?
Is it the
Tafasil? Yes,
yeah, Tafasil,
yes,
right?
yes.
Exhibition.
That was the first exhibition, and then the second exhibition and the third one, it was something very related. But with the third one, I started actually working more on sculptures and art installations, and from there, actually, I started focusing, because that's the way. You started with something and you will end up with something totally different.
True.
I had my friends who studied with me at school, and some of them now are jewelry designers, some of them are fashion designers. They will never know actually where you will end up. It depends how your passion will be developed and somehow moved from one place to another.
Walk us through your first, so you went from applied arts now, applied design, and you are now designing for furniture.
Yeah.
You get essence from the Qatar culture, and you see furniture. Where does that symbiotic connection meet? Like, how do you bring those two worlds together? Because furniture, chairs and tables is everywhere we see it.
Yeah.
So how does those two worlds combine? How do you get that, like, walk us through it? How do you get that kind of inspiration? I know you said you started off as a graphic designer, but now I think that was your first exhibition, right? That first big one?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is your first exhibition.
Yeah.
And you, like you said, months you have no idea, then all of a sudden, boom.
That's true.
Light goes on.
That's true.
Eureka moment.
See, it took with me a while, because I started actually working with purely interior design in 2010. And when you start working actually with interior design and furnitures and these stuff, I started finding stuff that, okay, we're here in Qatar, but whatever we're getting, it's from abroad. There's nothing reflecting, for example, the culture over here. There's nothing, for example, reflecting the essence of the identity itself over here. So I started researching more, and I'm always fascinated with the local architecture. Whether in any country I go, the first thing I would visit are the museums, the galleries, and any archaeological sites that reflecting the local architecture of the country itself. I spend most of my weekends. I would drive all the way, for example, to Zubara, for example,
yes.
and all these like local villages abandoned on the western side of Qatar.
Yes, yeah.
And I would look at the houses and the details of these houses. Like I'm fascinated with the windows and the doors and all these engravings, for example, and the shapes, for example, especially for the mosques and the ma'adhan and these stuff. So I started thinking about why I'm not having like certain limited edition or unique pieces of furniture reflecting these messages. You got my point. So I started actually with the first exhibition where I had one piece was reflecting the old palace, and another one it was reflecting a masjid, and the other pieces were reflecting like architectural ornaments. Okay, and some of them actually with messages, like with calligraphy messages. So when the exhibition happened, it was sold out because people saw something totally new, and you would see it maybe, for example, in Europe, but nobody saw it over here. And I took, for example, like the dirhams, the coins over here, and I turned them actually into tables.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so. I had one of my dearest collectors, to be honest, over here. He came and it was the first time I met him during the opening. He came inside and he was like, I want all of them. And I was like,
straight.
Yeah, straight.
How did that make you feel? That's amazing.
No, that made me feel so happy because that means like people are receiving like the messages behind these pieces in a total different way.
Yes.
And the year after, I was not very encouraged, to be honest. And then one of my collectors that I met at that time, he told me, like, I was telling him like I'm not feeling encouraged like to repeat the experiment again. He looked at me and he said like, it was successful. You have to redo it again with the same essence, but it may be a different aspect. So I worked on another like. How can I say, on another like level of the furniture itself. I went bigger, I went more crazy with the wood, with the details and the materials and these stuff. And then like it was also sold out, and I was like, wow, this is beautiful. So I took a break like for around 2 years after that, and then but I was participating in local galleries over here, like in group exhibitions and these stuff, but in a very small scale. But then I went for the third tafasil version. Over there, actually, I had people receiving me in a different way, because on that exhibition, I had an art installation, I had jewelry design, I had like product design and furniture. So I felt somehow people got lost.
Too many things.
Yes. So over here, I started actually like. I was like, they didn't receive the furniture the way that they received the art installation or the jewelry or the product design. So I started over here like developing different stuff. Product design from one side, jewelry when it is like I had some collaborations with some local jewelry like stores where I did like certain limited edition pieces, and they were like successful, alhamdulillah. So, but from there. The thing that fascinated me, it was art installations. So I started working actually over there, like somehow clearing the paths of being a furniture designer or a product designer. I would still design furniture. We just did actually with Blue Ribbon Design Atelier, which is my company. I co-founded actually with a local artist as well. His name is Ahmed Al-Imadi.
MashaAllah.
We participated actually in Doha Design Biennale, and we had a huge installation over here, and it was all like furniture and product design. And I had some of my sculptures as well over there, and it was well received by people because we went into a very conceptual type of installation. But it was like we went for the blue color, which is very common over here in Doha, but we reflected it in everything. I'm not kidding, like carpets, furniture, everything was blue. different shades of blue. So the moment you enter the installation, was like everything is blue. You got my point. So it was well received, and we went from there. We participated in Milan Design Week. We went to the Dutch Design Week, and we went to Dubai Design Week as well. So yeah, our products were like, especially the Sadu ones, because it was the first time I used Sadu in blue color. It's always like with brown, black, white, and red, but nobody used the blue. So
it's a big contrast.
Yes, exactly. It was well received. So
it seems as if you have reinvented yourself. You continue to challenge yourself each year.
Do you really
How do you stay confident doing that?
I'm not
changing it up a little bit.
Forget about it. There's no confidence at all.
You sure?
Yeah. Of course.
You have to be.
No. To be honest, most of the time I'm not happy with the products.
Really?
Of course.
But so are you
I was
happy?
like, if I had more money, it would be in a total different way.
Oh, you've
If
seen
I
it.
had-
Okay.
Yeah, you got like, to be honest.
Yes.
When I did these 15,000 pieces.
Yes.
After the exhibition, I was like, I wish I casted all of them in aluminum or brass. They would look amazing. I had my sister. She's a designer as well. Looked at me and she said, like, you're crazy, man. You're crazy.
So are you getting the verification that your work is good from the people, or do you eventually come around and say, you know what, this is good, even though I was hard on myself at first? This was a really good installation.
See, both. Let's say both.
Okay.
Both together. It's not easy, to be honest. If you're not going to criticize yourself, you would be dumb. I'm sorry, but yeah, like I never saw my work as the perfect one, and I never saw the final product as like the best one. For example, I would always say like I would have done it better if I had more time, maybe more resources, or why I didn't think the other way, for example. So
When it comes to, you said earlier that you talk to yourself.
yeah,
We all do, by the way. It's
I do as well.
Yeah, of course.
We all do.
Yeah.
So obviously,
How many of your personalities?
who knows, lost count. But obviously, you play two parts to yourself. You are critical, and you are the biggest fan. So the question I want to ask you is that, when do you think, you know what, today, Bachir, good job today? Or when do you say, man, like you said earlier, if I had more time, more money, more this, I could have made it better. So when is the fine line between being critical and the fine line giving yourself a pat on the back? Like, when do you, like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand you, but I don't remember giving myself long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
So just stay critical.
Yeah.
Always critical.
Long time ago, to be honest. See,
Or is it because you're constantly after every exhibition and installation? From what I can tell so far, from the first one till where you are now, you're constantly reinventing yourself, or there's an evolution that's happening.
I think it's somehow evolution, and I do stand with the notion that artist has to be developing from one time to another. You got my point. I don't like to be stuck with one idea and khalas, that's it. This is my identity. I don't believe that artists should have identities the way that people think it is. Your identity is the way your message reflecting within your piece of art. You can work with different materials, but you still have your touch.
Correct.
And people will know that this is your touch, believe it or not. I know this. I've seen this actually with people telling me like, oh, we passed by this piece and we knew that this is yours, though there's like no label or nothing.
So that's the question.
Yeah.
What is your brand? How would anyone know that this is a Bachir piece?
Well, I don't think this question should be asked. Should be
for the people.
Yes,
right?
yes, because I
see.
don't see. I see myself when we started talking.
Yes.
I see myself actually with the cultural side of the field itself.
Right.
Okay. So I would go for details. I would go for full details. I would go for a message that reflecting something related actually to the culture itself. Do we have other artists doing this? Yes, of course. But The difference is like maybe the materials, the production, the message, the way that it's being displayed, for example. That's the thing that differentiate you from other artists, for example. But what is my identity? I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. It's a very tough question to be.
But that's remarkable to me. You know why? Because some people, they have an artwork, a signature.
Yes.
That if you put it on there, they know that's that person.
True.
Your calling card.
But you're saying that I don't have one. But people are telling you that I know it's your work.
Yes.
So to me, that's remarkable because you're not doing it purposely.
I remember
you know.
when I did the Qatari Hills big sculpture. It was my first public art sculpture, which is like
What year was
5
this?
meters.
What year?
The Qatari Hills one.
What year was this?
2022.
Okay, so people have the reference to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was installed actually a day or two before the World Cup starts.
Nice.
Okay, and I was not allowed actually to cover it or to do anything for it because they told me like, once we're done, you will come, you will launch it and everything. I had people actually visiting the area over there and sending me messages.
Saying this is yours.
Okay, telling me like,
Wow.
that's your piece. We're sure that's your piece. So it started actually because people knew me through the Batula, through the Burgariyasi one, which is like something like from the female traditions over here in Qatar and how they used to because I took it from one side to another. It started like with Corona where I was like playing with it, and this installation between like a tradition and the new tradition, like where women used to wear it all the way until like, let's say, end of 70s, and then it started to decline.
Is that the metal piece, the metal face piece?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then due to the coronavirus, women start actually to cover their faces, but in a totally different mask. So I call it tradition and the new tradition.
Okay.
So it took a leap actually in during like the corona, where people saw it as an interactive piece and these stuff. And then I took the mask itself, the Batula itself, and I developed it into an art installation and then into like a home accessory with one of the galleries over here.
I have a question. Sorry, cut you off. The big Batula in the museum.
That's for Sheikh Hassan.
Is that yours?
No,
Okay.
that's for Sheikh Hassan.
Okay. You know the National Museum.
That's the Batula. That's the big Batula of Sheikh Hassan. Yeah,
okay,
that's his mom's Batula.
Okay.
The one I'm working with is a total different Batula. It's called Burgariyasi.
Okay.
And it's the limited edition Batula that was used by the elite because it was bedazzled with gold and these stuff.
Got you.
When I started working with it, lots of people over here in Qatar thought that it's not Qatari. So we had this debate, and I remember this time where Sheikh Faisal bin Qassim was at the gallery, and one of the visitors asked him like, "Is this like a Qatari thing?" And he looked at him and said, "Yes, my mom used to wear the same. And you can come to my museum and you will find it." So I visited his museum before, and I went through the private collection of Sheikh Faisal. And it's a beautiful collection.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it's absolutely. Absolutely.
So I saw these Burgariyasi, and then I went to the Qatar National Library. I went through all these like old books in the heritage library. Where they have like hidden, to be honest. It's not like in the common one. You have to go down to the heritage library. So I started actually like going through the books to know if anybody like talked about this type of Batula, and it was mentioned over there like back in the 50s and the 60s, and that's lots of the women used to wear it, but only like in special occasions and these stuff. It's not like a daily use one.
It's really cool history.
I think people started relating me with that thing starting from there, to be honest. Okay, but then suddenly they will find like a new one, for example, in Old Doha Port, which is totally different. It's nothing related actually to women. It's nothing, but it's related actually, for example, to the stray cats. I'm a person who loves cats, so I had this installation with the Design Doha Bin Ali with the stray cats, and then now it's developed into an art installation and sculptures in Old Doha Port. Now I'm having a new one as well. So I do take aspects from not only from the traditions and the heritage itself, but also from the environment and the community. I love to highlight or to expose the light more about like stuff that maybe for you it means nothing, but for me it means a lot. Like for example, stray cats, it means a lot. Little birds, for example, it means a lot. So I like sometimes I like my art to have not only a message but also to be holding cause, like to be helping, highlighting more about certain type of cause.
That's it.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Okay, let's shift gear now. Okay, so now a cause.
yeah,
So your last major exhibit was the Echo of Essence.
yes.
So let's
That's
talk about
true.
the cause, and let's dive deeper. This happened in Msheireb.
Yes.
So before anything, we want to thank Msheireb today.
Yes.
That's where we are recording. The lovely space that we see right here, this majlis, is offered to us by Msheireb.
Yeah.
So thank you, Msheireb, so much.
The Radwani house.
The Dwani House. The Dwani House. Cherry Museum. Yes, so you did the Echo of Essence in Msheireb. This was about how long ago? A month ago?
No, actually, it was the opening was on the 16th of September.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it ended on the 26th.
This is like 4 months ago. Anyways,
December,
yeah,
yeah.
this is like last year. If we think about it.
Yes,
This is
it's last year, exactly.
Last year. Technically last year.
Technically, yeah, technically last year.
Let's talk about the beginning. Inspiration. Unfortunately, the inspiration came from this
Yes.
this heinous acts happening
Absurd.
in Palestine. Unfortunately, everyone knows what's happening in the news.
Yeah, it's
So-
happening on a daily basis. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's not stopping.
And you particularly chose to talk about the children of Gaza.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. See, when we talk about children, we talk about the future of any nation.
صح.
Okay, because these are like the new generations. These are like the generation that we're raising actually to hold, let's say, the future of the country itself.
Yes.
So Gaza has lost a lot when it is about this. And if you look at it now, there's no infrastructure, no schools, no universities, no hospitals. They are talking more than 50,000 people being killed, and if not more. Some of the families were like wiped out. They don't. You will not find these families anymore, for example. So it all started back in 2023 in December. I saw one video over the news for a kid. She was crying, and she was holding one of her teddy bear, and it was not easy. Literally, it didn't make. I couldn't sleep that night when I saw it. Not because like of the scene itself. It's because how fragile the situation is. Okay, and you look at these kids; they have lost everything. But when you meet them, they, believe it or not, I met some of the Gaza evacuees over here, especially the kids. They made me feel that I lost everything. They didn't lose anything.
SubhanAllah.
Their hope is amazing. What they have, we don't have it, and it's not easy. I witnessed war, for example, in Lebanon, 1996 and 2006. But what they have witnessed, nobody had.
SubhanAllah.
So they had this. How can I say it? They had this love to live, but it comes purely. It's not. It's not like, and it's not like because they love life. No, it's like they want to prove that they are humans and they have the right for this and this world actually to live and to survive. So I wanted to help. That was like the first question mark. How can I help? How can I help? Like highlighting more about the cause itself. When I started working on the installation, the number of the kids killed were like not exceeding 4,000. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started doing the sketches and everything, and in around 3 to 4 days, I had the full proposal ready. And I went to one of my first supporters, to be honest, over here in Doha, and I showed him the presentation, and he looked at me and he's like, "I'm in."
Straight up.
Straight up, no questions,
No questions
nothing.
asked, nothing.
And I was like,
Alhamdulillah.
this is what I need, and I was planning actually to have the installation on April 2024.
Okay.
Okay, but it took time actually until I raised the full production funds, and to find the place and these stuff. So it was not an easy process, to be honest. And it took like around 8 months to finish the production of the 15,000 pieces. It was great, to be honest. It was a bless to have Msheireb Properties with me, to have Qatari Charity with me, to have Dearest with me, and like a big shout out actually to the teams of these partners, to be honest, especially with Msheireb Properties. They did miracles for me, to be honest. Like it wouldn't have happened. When I came over here to Msheireb actually and met the team, and I was pitching the idea for them, I wanted like a small space. I was like, any of the museums might fit. And when they told me that we were doing it in Barahat, I was like, I would never have dreamt about that place.
Yeah.
You got my point? I was like, I'm in. Let's do it. You got my
Why
point?
not?
Yeah, so it took with me around 3 months to cast them, because we casted them actually over here in Msheireb. Okay. They gave me a space actually in Msheireb Galleria on the upper floor, on the upper floors, where my team was over there working on a daily basis for almost like 2 months and a half. Imagine going every day. Imagine going every day to Msheireb Galleria and checking on these guys. So I remember the first day we casted like around 800 pieces. When I looked at them, and I was like, I hope the Baraha is gonna be enough to put the 15,000. It was not an easy process, especially knowing what they stand for. Okay. So when we started actually preparing for the exhibition itself, like the installation and placing them, I panicked maybe 1,000 times. I looked at them, each one, and I was like, no, they don't look the same. Some of them are like dirty. Some of them are like, I don't know how. And I had one of my friends, he came to me at night and he said like, your OCD thingy, you have to keep it at home. What you have done is great, just do it, and people, believe me, will receive it in a good manner. So don't worry about people criticizing you or whatsoever. So like, it's not about that, it's like, I'm criticizing myself. If I had more time, if I made it like it from a different material, I started thinking about all these stuff. And even like when my team and I were placing them on the floor, I went to one of my suppliers and I asked them actually to do like a certain type of a stencil where I can just mark on the carpet so they can put it and to be like 100. You got my point?
Yes.
Believe me, maybe the second day I was crying at night, because when I looked at one of the lines, I was like, it's not straight. And the guys look at me and they were like sweaty and tired, and I was like, sir, that's it. We're gonna do it the way we're gonna do it, but you have to like to be
allow it.
Exactly, to allowing it to happen. So the night of the the night before the opening, actually, we finished installing them around 6 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So I looked at them and I was like, I don't know, but if normal people are going to see this and not understanding the impact of the number, then there is a big issue with humanity nowadays.
Absolutely.
So I had people going over there crying every single day when they saw actually that big installation with the 15,000 pieces. I was not expecting people will receive it well.
To be that moved.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
I was not expecting any of this media coverage or like people calling me, thanking me, or telling me like what you have done is a great job. It's not about the great job. It's about the message received. I wanted the message to be well received by people, and to see that numbers are not only a small writing on a piece of paper. When you say 15,000, it's not a small number.
These are human bodies.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
I had people coming that when they telling me like, when we looked at them, we could like we somehow imagine our kids being over there, and they started crying. For the first 7-8 days, I was crying every day. Not because I was just standing over there and looking at them. I had people coming to me crying. Yani, I would cry with them because I know what does this mean. I know what it stands for, and where it is coming from. As much they look innocent, as much it's a very harsh message. It's a very harsh reality that we're passing through and we're living in, to be honest.
It's deep. It's very deep.
I'll ask you a question, a very simple one, but when you were first starting out, you said that it was at 4,000. Unfortunately, the death toll was at 4,000. Did the 15,000, was that preset in your mind, or it grew to that number from 4,000 to 15,000?
No, we thought about 15,000 actually that time, because I was discussing with my first contributor, and I told him, like, I'm thinking about having 15,000 pieces, because if we're gonna sell each piece for 100 riyal, okay, at least to raise a big number actually for charity.
Okay.
So we wanted first actually to go like for a lower price, but then he said, no, Bashir, you're selling an art piece. It's not only like a charity thing. And we made sure that the full proceeds actually go to the charity with the Qatar charity. The point is, when we were discussing this, I was telling him, like, I hope we won't reach the 15,000.
Yeah.
I said, I hope that.
I understand.
When we opened the exhibition, the number was almost 17,000.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah. So it was exceeding the.
It was more than 15,000.
Yes. So alhamdulillah, in around 12 to 13 days, the 15,000 teddy bears got sold. We raised more than 1.6 million riyals.
MashaAllah.
We had a continuous exhibition at Ben Jalmoud House with 50 artists, where they contributed with their artworks as well. And we had like a charity auction with Al Bahi Auction House also over there, where I sold the first casted teddy bears with the whole process, the molds, and the whole story about it. Also like the jewelry line, because it had a small jewelry line as well. But it was all featured in the museum. So we raised like almost 1.8 million actually for the charity, and it was an amazing effort of every single person who got involved in this project. I couldn't thank like any of the people actually who were involved, whether they are sponsors or partners or like people who visited the exhibition and somehow contributed actually in the success of raising the funds.
And I do have a question too as well, just for the audience, so they will understand the elements of this piece. Can you describe like the colors that you use, why you use those colors? What's the significance of the watermelon? Just so people who do not know understand what's going on.
See, the main message is saying I'm not just a number. I'm a human with an identity with a homeland. That's why it's called Echo of the Lost Innocence. Every single piece of them, it was representing the echo of the voice of a lost child. That I'm not just a number. I used the watermelon as the representation for Palestine itself. And the teddy bear is, it's the accepted symbolism of childhood and innocence in the international community.
Yes.
Whether you're Muslim, Christian, or whatever your religion is, this is accepted. Okay, it's not haram. It's not. Like. It's not seen in a different way. It's the symbol of innocence and childhood, and having this soft, which is like less than 50 grams toy, being soaked within a concrete block and it has metals inside. It has a metal structure inside and these stuff, which is like around 7 kgs, and then having the red color over the concrete. The concrete represents the destruction actually of Gaza, which is still happening till now. And the red color actually is representing the blood of these innocent kids being killed in Palestine. So I know it's very odd. It's an odd piece. It's nothing that most of the people who came first thought it's a toy. No, it's not a toy. I was telling people over there, it's not a toy for your kids. It's, to be honest, it's really a harmful piece that for kids to be play with it. Because if any of the kids would hurt himself with this, I wouldn't be happy knowing that one of my pieces actually caused a pain for a kid or something.
I don't think kids can carry that.
Yes, exactly. So even like I had some of the people who came to the exhibition, they were like highlighting this through social media, like guys, pay attention. This is an artwork. It's not for kids actually to play with.
Right.
However, it's for you to show your kids and to know more about what's happening today in Palestine. So the piece had different aspects, like educational aspect, humanitarian aspect. It had like an art aspect as well. But the main one, actually, for me, it was like for people to know more about the impact of the number itself, and to know what's going on. And alhamdulillah, it highlighted a lot actually in
What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on, especially like up till now, I'm still receiving like messages from people through the social media, and some people calling me, "Do you still have of these teddy bears?" I was like, "No,
What's that?
I don't have."
You know, for me, when I saw this piece, the symbolism behind it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, like you said, the teddy bear is the international symbol for children.
Yeah.
So, but the way I see it is that we all know that Palestine, as it is right now, it is the largest airspace that is locked down.
Yes.
Gaza is locked down.
Yeah.
So these children are technically in a prison.
That's true.
And because they're in a prison, the concrete represents that they cannot escape the area they're in. They're locked up, and they're tied down to this land which is their home.
Yes.
But they don't have the freedom to escape.
Yes.
And the child that represents the airspace in the prison, and then the blood. Eventually, they're gonna, God forbid, or Allah yarhamak, they pass away, or they're about to pass away.
Yeah.
So the symbolism has so many layers, and how you look at it.
I had some people actually who came to me and they told me like, we felt that you put the concrete with the teddy bear, that the teddy bear is somehow attached to the land.
Yes.
And it's not easy going.
You can't go.
Yeah. So that's where people actually, or the audience, will start interacting with the art piece.
Yes.
Through their own perspective and through their own dimensions, which is something I had to respect, and I was happy to see people seeing it actually from different perspectives.
Right.
I was super clear actually with this message when I did the installation, and I was like, this is the destruction, this is the representing the childhood and the lost innocence. The way that you take it, it's personal.
Right.
And it's beautiful because it somehow moved you. It somehow moved you. I had some people who didn't accept it. I had some people who considered it, to be honest, like lame and
really,
and stupid, and so
it's those haters we're talking about before.
Yeah. So
haters gonna hate.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
But the impact of the installation itself made them actually look.
So as an individual, they couldn't accept it.
Yes. Some of them said like, we don't like it, we don't want it to be inside our houses. It's so harsh. Okay, they have to come to my place. I have 100 of them actually looking at me every day. So I had to buy my own 100 pieces actually from the installation.
Really?
Yes.
It's, you know what though, it's by itself. It's not as impactful, but with
the group,
sheer numbers,
yes,
how you set it up.
Yes, but
that's what impacted me the
but
most.
the nice thing actually nowadays, like I'm receiving some photos, for example, from UK. I had some of the visitors who came over here. They took it with them. I heard a lot of comments like, "Why it's so heavy? I want to take it with me to US, or I want to take it with me to whatever country.
Right.
And I was like, that's the thing. If you cannot hold this one, how else you're thinking about these kids actually holding all of this heaviness,
all this trauma,
destruction going on in their country?
Wow.
That's a very
So,
deep soundbite.
Deep connection.
Yeah, you're right. If you can't hold the 7 pounds, how do you think these kids are holding their?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Is the 7 pounds also the weight of a heart as well?
That's something in you.
I believe so.
yeah, 7 pounds is the weight of the heart.
That's
So
something
it's
in you.
even a deeper connection.
Yeah. Well, AB.
One last question
Yes.
for Brother
I
Bashir.
know you have a
I always have
big question to
I always
ask.
have questions.
Yeah, he does. You don't know he does.
As of right, okay, in the journey of inspiration and evolution, because clearly you're evolving.
Yes.
And inspiration is like a fleeting thought. Here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, what is the next thing that you're currently working on? Or have you started it? Do you have is there a light bulb in the process? What's the next thing? Or currently are you doing right now?
Well,
If you can talk about it.
If you can talk, if you want to share it.
Yeah.
If it's hush hush, then
I won't share it, but
don't worry, no one wants to your idea.
see,
Right.
I'm always working on something new, but whether it's gonna happen or not, that's something I leave it for Allah, let's say. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I'm always
Also,
working.
do you write down your ideas?
Of course.
Okay, good.
Of course.
Okay, I'm making sure. Okay.
Some people don't write down
No,
things.
It's not only about writing them, it's about like,
He
I had the
researches
idea,
art-
let's start designing it.
exactly. Yeah.
The environment.
So,
I would keep it on the side, even
Yes,
if
of
it's
course.
not gonna work.
Because if
I
you're
can
not
keep it
gonna,
on the
if
side.
you're not
Yeah.
going
Maybe one
to
day it will
respect the
maybe
culture
one day
that
it will
somehow
Inshallah.
you're
yeah.
related to it.
So
you would.
as I'm telling you, I'm always working on something.
Yeah, you wouldn't succeed.
If it is gonna happen
Yes,
now,
exactly,
after
exactly.
in future, that's something. in the
Yeah,
hands
see,
of,
that's something
Allah.
totally.
So I cannot say anything, to be honest, but there is always something new. Now I'm focusing more actually on my concept store and some of the projects that I'm finalizing. I do have some projects I'm finalizing as art installations and some commissioned sculptures and these stuff. But other than this, always like knocking the doors every single day.
Yeah, man.
Opening new doors, opening new windows. Like I do believe if the door is not open, I can enter from the window. It doesn't matter actually the way.
That is a quote to live by.
Yeah. So
You need a door, you have a window.
Yeah.
so see, I'm not the person who would sit home and say like, oh Allah, please send me the money or send me the
I
thing.
see.
You got my point.
You're a go-getter.
You have to.
You have
to. Well, see, we were taught in a very hard way actually.
Yeah.
My mom was a single mother. She was like having 2 jobs raising us, and it was not an easy process, to be honest. It was not an easy life. So she's like I'm not kidding. Like she would say like, if we stop working, we would die. Like our work or our careers are like the dynamo of our life.
Right.
Wow.
It's not like we can sit, relax. I can sit and relax, but with my laptop on my lap. It's not like, I'm not kidding. Like the only relaxing time is sleeping, and I love to sleep, to be honest. So yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. I was going to say, shout out to your mother for letting you draw on the walls.
Oh yeah.
My
She
mom
had
would probably beat me if I did that when I was a kid. So for her to allow you to express yourself that way was
that's
pretty
true.
amazing.
If I drew on the wall.
Imagine that.
You know why? You know why she would allow us to do this? Because we were not allowed actually to play outside the house.
So it was only inside you had to.
Yes.
So the house was.
Yes.
It makes sense.
There was a compromise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were still not
makes sense.
satisfied even till now. We would say like, look at her, and she was like, because of you, I cannot drive a bike now. And she was like, saying, whatever.
Right.
You made a career out of artist, not career being
Yeah,
a
exactly.
bicyclist, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So you gotta pick and choose your battles.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, to be
Pick and
honest.
choose your
Yeah.
battles. Yeah,
Well,
man.
hope you enjoyed yourself today. We enjoyed
Yes,
this
thank you.
conversation.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
guys.
much.
Thank
You
you.
actually enlightened
It's been a while.
You actually enlightened us so much about the world of
Thank you,
art.
my brother.
Thank you.
2 guys that are not from the world of art.
No.
So you actually answered a lot of our questions. You opened a lot of our both our eyes actually.
Yeah.
And art is one of those things that it's objective
It is.
and it's also subjective depending
That's
on
true.
what it is.
That's
so
true.
for guys who don't know much about art, except for just looking at art, you've actually showed us a lot of things and answered a lot of our questions. So really appreciate that so much.
Thank you for
Thank
hosting
you for
me.
Msheireb for allowing us to use the space. Thank you, Bashir, for asking on our behalf to use this space as
Oh
well.
no, yeah.
This is
Thank you for Qatar Day as well, for being in the background, helping us
shout
out
out,
with this.
shout out to the boys in the back. We appreciate it as always.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a wrap for episode 1 with Bachir Mohamad.
Wait, before we say,
I'm always doing this.
I know, man.
I have a knack for that.
Bro, but they have to know, man.
Gotcha.
Make sure to what? Follow.
Yeah, I do this all the
Subscribe.
time. I'm letting him do it. Like, follow, subscribe,
And that's it.
and we're out. Ma
We out.
salama.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. Take care.
Alaikum salam.